Hello everyone and welcome to more Plutocracy with me, Mahogany Madness. Today we are back with Jerome Mahogany, and one of the things I wanted to do first before we properly kick into this episode, so it'll probably be a shorter episode, is just explain the game a bit. Because I'm aware that I've been doing all of this stuff now for almost 5 episodes, and some people just don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I'm going to aim to change that. So, first things first, profitability. That is how much essentially the business is profitable. It is just like it. If it's growing, how much is it growing by? Which is why it's the best metric to measure how good a company is doing, because that's how quickly it is growing. At the bottom, you have your negative ones. This means the company is doing worse off this quarter than last quarter, whilst this one is doing over 20% better than it was doing last quarter. The second most important thing when looking at which companies to invest in is dividends. Now, dividends is how much of their profit they pay out. So if I go to my companies here, my dividend is set at 80%, which means I'm paid 2.5 million every quarter. If I put it up to 100%, I'm paid 3.12 every quarter. Now, when you're just investing in a company, I would recommend going for ones at 100%. Because you're not turning them around and making them into something better. Instead, you are just trying to use them to make money. Now, when you fully own a company yourself, you have two choices. You can either really just use it for the money, turn it into something great, and just ignore the fact that no money is going to reserves. Because reserves aren't that important unless you're planning on expanding your company, or unless you're planning on buying companies with this company. Whilst on the other hand, I keep it at about 80%, so I do have reserves in. Because reserves means that I can do expansions. And expansions increase the number of people working for you. Which results in increased production results in increased revenue, income, and that's just more money coming back to you. But quite often, like early game, you don't have to worry about any of this. You just worry about profitability and dividends. Most stakeholders will always vote to increase dividends, while in some places, like when I was all the way over in Rhode Island, me and my rival have shares in the same company. So if I have really high dividends on that company, that money is going directly into his pocket, as well as mine. But it's really hard to buy someone out of a company. Mainly your rival, because they'll never do deals with you. Profitability-wise, it's what the AI uses. So you'll see me go onto this map a lot. Profitability and so Kentucky is the most profitable. You've got quite a wave over 20, right? So these are your target companies. I don't think you can. Yeah, if I wish dividends was a percentage, not a raw number. But it is a raw number, so that's unfortunate. Most of these things, like net income, you could do. So Kentucky is the best one in terms of net income. But things like this one, nothing in here matters. Nothing in here particularly matters, and it's only green anyway. So he owns. So if you look at this, these are the states that he owns big in. These are the states I own big in. So there's not a lot of crossover, apart from Rhode Island. I think is the only major crossover point. Yeah, and pretty much that is how you play this game. So if it wasn't Kentucky, you would see him move because he's chasing the profits. And all of those shares, you can find them all here. and I own quite a lot at this point, also paying me large sums back. So the Price Brothers, really good because it eventually pays itself off in 5 months. Hall Link pays itself off in 3 months, while some of these worse ones, Voter Inc., which I bought into very early in the campaign, really doesn't pay me back that quickly. The other thing to consider is, because I'm playing on hard difficulty, people negotiate with me really badly. That's just sort of how it is. But I'm trying to figure. That's odd. But if you negotiate with people, there's nothing in here that's profitable. We go over to Colorado. Let's see. I went there for a reason. I can't remember what the reason was now. Again, these events are just the CEOs that are wanting to do things for themselves. I normally just let them. If CEOs get really annoyed at you, they quit. And you just get a bad CEO in their place. So if you go here, right, and a lot of these guys won't negotiate with me because I was really cruel to them, right? And you go in to buy it. This image here is actually the stock market price. If you're playing on an easier difficulty, it could be here, it could be here, it could be anywhere really. Because I'm playing on a high, like as one of the harder difficulties that you can get it on, it's always all the way over there, which is a major downside. But it's not the end of the world for me. It does mean nearly always buying straight from the stock market is just a lot more profitable. I'm just going to power up this guy because I can. As you see, all of them have different prices, so these will change to show the differences. Just like that. And you can also see the difference in price here. So he is so much more reasonable because he's wasteful. He is mercantile, which is this one here, which means he is a lot more. He'll only accept it for a really high rate. But that's just one state that I'm buying into. With a lot of these, if you only buy one company in a place, it's really hard for you to come back and check on it, because the only way you would be able to check on it is if you have a office in the state. And essentially this means you can do business in the state without being in the state yourself. So since I'm here, I can do all of this stuff. But if we go back across Colorado, I can't see the companies because I don't have an office there, I don't live there. Whilst Nebraska, where as you can see here, I do have a company. I never knew that was a thing. Great. I can do business in. So that is pretty much the basics of the game. And the objective of the game normally is just to become rich. Influence was something I really struggled with understanding. One key part is reputation. If your reputation is high, if your reputation is max, you have all of your influence. If your reputation is really low, you have reduced amounts, pretty much. So as you can see, my companies give me 2.7k. But this is why I buy all of these luxuries, because as you can see, luxuries, 3.12k. It's a lot of money. I buy this, and you'll see what it turns into. He's going to bid me up. On your bell. No, okay. So we're at 3.12, and now if I go back to this screen, 3.9. So quite a big boost there just from buying that one thing. So in one of my previous runs, I refused to use the profitability. Because if you do it like this, is it really the funnest way to play the game? Probably not, because you are just copying the AI, and it is a known way to get rich quick. But doing something because it works does make the game a lot easier, which is why I'm doing it this time. I'm going to places like Woods Bank, where this guy wants to sell me all of his shares. And I just buy in. Because I know it's going to make me the money I need it to make me to do whatever I want, is pretty much the entire logic. There will be people and YouTubers out there who get really deep into the analysis and figure out everything. I'm not one of them. I did spend a bit of time this campaign trying to go into all of those numbers, but they're just not that interesting. And it sounds bad to say like that, but they're just not. Or at least not in my opinion. Because in the end of the day, it comes down to this dice roll. This guy could have ended up here 5 times and forced me to buy there. He didn't. He came all the way down here, which means I've taken over a large amount of this company for really cheap. I buy out this guy like so. Yeah. Nice and easy. But when I take over a company, first thing I do, increase work plan. Increase all the rest of this stuff, but never buy enough that it really is detrimental. When I completely own a company myself, I tend to increase worker rate, means you're paying them more, but it also means that strike risk and staff turnover are lower. This company, I will probably just use it. Con award. See, this is why he would vote against this. And if he votes against this, he will dislike me. If he dislikes me, I can't buy him out next quarter, or whichever quarter I will be buying him out. I can't afford the house, sadly. But yeah, that is pretty much the entire basics of this game in almost 10 minutes. So I do hope that was helpful. And this won't be a full-blown episode, this will just be that tutorial, and I'll label it as such, and then we will be back on Monday with the series continuing. But one thing's for sure, we're a very wealthy man, compared to our rivals at 217, and we're at 152. So we're getting there. AIs start with all of these maxed, I do not, so they automatically have a buff. But thank you very much for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful, and if you did enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe.